And I agree with you, President. You know, Africa has all what the world needs for the future. You know, for the green transition, for the energy transition. The minerals are here. They are nowhere else. For the future of the world, the young people is here. It will be in Africa. So the talent, the innovation, the energy, you know, the market also will be in Africa. So, and I really feel when I come to this continent, I feel like the energy that is building up here. Yes, I really feel a change, you know, of everything, of leadership, of ambition, of enthusiasm that is needed to look at the future with hope. Yes, because we need strong voices, really, to put out there in the international community the needs and the vision that is coming from the global south. So thank you so much. And I like also the approach that you do this, talking about our common objectives as a global society. Not only in the divisional way of putting things, but also in how constructive we can build together a better world if we really follow the objectives that we have set for ourselves, the SDGs and the climate change and Paris Agreement. So really thank you very much for that. With respect to the African Continental Free Trade Area, in UNCTAD, we have been very strong advocates for the integration of the continent. And I have always said that coming from Latin America, I feel envious of the dynamism that you see, you know, 54 countries signing the agreement, 46 countries already, if I am not mistaken, have ratified it. And now you're saying also, Mr. President, of the sub-regional systems and communities coming together to converge, because the convergence is a first step for building the African free trade area. And we have estimated more or less that if tariff liberalization will bring around 9.2 billion more per year for the African continent. But if we face and solve also the challenges of non-tariff measures that are even more of an obstacle in many senses than tariffs themselves, and if we can really invest in the infrastructure and logistics that the continent needs, that number of 9.2 billion will get to 22 billion at least per year for the African continent. And that will give, as the President said, you know, the scale for private investment, because many times when we go to the private sector and the investment community, they tell us, but you know, we have to go country by country, you know, for making an investment that can be an investment for the whole continent, but we have different norms, different rules, different policies in each country, so it doesn't make sense for us because it doesn't have the scale. But if the continental free trade area came as an agreement, or the convergence of the sub-regional systems, as the President said, come together and can harmonize all those rules and barriers that the private sector finds, so investment can really scale up in a major way in the continent. Yes, when we made our report about the African free trade area, we found that the logistic and infrastructure, for example, of the ports, yes, is built more for the trade outside Africa with the partners outside Africa than inside Africa. So the connectivity inside Africa will have to be built with a different perspective. Yes, the perspective before was to export final goods or raw materials to the rest of the world. Now that is, you know, also for the continent, we will have to build the necessary connectivity for that to happen. The regulations, as we said, the harmonization of the rules, the digital market for Africa. You know, Kenya, that is really a leading force here, you know, in finance and in private sector development, really is a very good voice and has been a very good model in terms of what can be achieved in fintech. I was amazed, President, let me say. You know, I was in the Masai Mara with my family, and everything went through M-Pesa, you know.